All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with CO Sports Talk, and the NFL started today. Well, it technically started Thursday, but it was the first NFL Sunday today, and
Yeah.
it just bring joy to my heart. Uh, Patriots played today. They lost. We'll get into that, and then Casey's 49ers played today, and it was close, but they caught the W at the end. So we're just gonna talk about every single game, and we're gonna go through each game. Every single one of the 13 that was played today.
Let's go.
And we are just going to discuss them in each. We are going to start with our brief thoughts for every game with the Cowboys Buccaneers Thursday night game. And so, I had a football game during this game. So Casey, take it away. What were your takeaways from this game?
Cowboys are legit. I mean, obviously the Buccaneers won this game, but the Cowboys played well. CeeDee Lamb was great. Amari Cooper was even better. And Dak Prescott, the injury did not phase him. And on the Buccaneers side of the ball, Tom Brady continues to just be insane, even though it's his 22nd year. So yeah, that's my main takeaways from this game.
Yes, I saw the highlights. CeeDee Lamb looked great, had a touchdown. Amari Cooper looked fantastic. Chris Godwin looked great. Leonard Fournette looked good. This Bucs defense did not look as good as we expected going into it and letting 29 points up in the first game. But good for this Cowboys offense. I think they're promising going forward in this year. So
yeah, definitely. I think on the defensive side of the ball for the Cowboys, they were also pretty shaky. But
that was expected.
Trayvon Diggs rocking number 7, like star safety, Casey Hornbeak. But yeah, I thought the Cowboys played well.
So now we will move on to the Eagles-Falcons. The Eagles went into the Falcons' new stadium, well, fairly new, and they trounced on them. Jalen Hurts got the start, and they won 32-6. I didn't get to see much of this game either, but from what I saw, Devontae Smith got his first NFL catch, was a touchdown.
Yeah.
From Jalen Hurts. I saw Dallas Goedert had a touchdown, nice acrobatic catch. But yeah, just seemed like this Eagles team, which is expected to be a really bad team, was firing on all cylinders today.
Yeah, a little NFC West, a little Alabama duo there. And I had in my little parlay here, I had Falcons -3 going in to last night about 3 a.m. Shout out David Mertz had me change it to the Eagles +3. Great decision by him. He's an Eagles fan. It ended up working, changed it. Eagles won. So let's go Eagles.
So now moving on to Steelers-Bills. Steelers won 23-16, and it was all Bills in the first half. The Steelers were shut out in the first half, but came alive in this fourth quarter. Had felt like a little bit of an in-game revival. Big Ben came alive. Najee Harris never really got it going, but great play from Chase Claypool. And a really big shock in this one for me, which I thought the Bills were going to run away with this.
Yeah, I watched this game at the Chicago airport, Steelers and Bills fans watching in the restaurant. And wow, Chase Claypool, amazing catches. Big Ben, he still has it. And the Steelers D, though, they were amazing. And playing in that atmosphere is so hard. Bills are the best fans in the NFL, maybe besides the Chiefs, but unreal.
Yeah, playing in Orchard Park is going to be tough. And yeah, this Steelers defense is just phenomenal. We knew that coming in. The question marks were on the offensive side of the ball with quarterback play, Big Ben's aging. But we knew how good this defense is with TJ Watt, and he earned that extension.
Yes, sir.
The first OT thriller of the NFL season came between the Vikings and the Bengals of all teams. I thought this was a for sure win from the Vikings. Again, when we did our NFL predictions, I did not expect this Bengals team to be good at all. I still don't think they will be, but this O-line gave Joe Burrow a little time to throw, and he made the most with it, connecting with Jamar Chase on a huge 50-plus yard touchdown. And he looked really good. Both Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. T. Higgins caught a touchdown. So all these young wide receivers doing great with Joe Burrow, and this is a fun young team. And shout out Joe Mixon, played really well as well.
Big Bengals guy I am. Big Bengals guy. Joe Mixon, probably one of my favorite players in the league. Did awesome. 25 points if you're in a PPR league. 20 points if you're not. So great game for him. And then the receiving core was awesome. T. Higgins played well. One of the most underrated players in the league right now. And then Jamar Chase, had a lot of doubters going into the season, but he played great. Burrow played great. He's back. This Bengals team had swagger. The D they were all right. Von Bell made some plays, And ultimately, they beat a solid Vikings team that was very close to making the playoffs last year. So that's a great win for this Bengals team. I'm excited for them. I think they're going to be in the wild card. I predicted it, and I still feel great about that prediction.
Nice. Yeah, huge win over a pretty good Vikings team, which I think are going to make the playoffs this year. All right, next up, Cardinals Titans, and the Cardinals came in to Tennessee, and they just knocked the wind out of these Titans. The Titans did not really look good today. This offense, which has AJ Brown, Derrick Henry, and Julio Jones, just only put up 13 points against a Cardinals defense that hasn't really been impressive these past few years. So, but Kyler Murray, 5 total touchdowns. Kyler Murray has a serious chance to win MVP this year. 5 total touchdowns, and yeah, the man was just rolling. Christian Kirk had a monster game, and these Titans can never really get it going. But this Titans team, maybe they're not be as good as people say. I mean, how do you feel about this Titans team after this poor performance against the Cardinals?
Yeah, I think they're a tad overrated, but they have been slow starters in the past. Keep that in mind. Tannehill did not play well, though. However, this Cardinals team, I mean, they deserve all of that. No excuses on the Titans' part. DeAndre Hopkins played amazing, and Kyler played amazing. So good for them. This Cardinals team, NFC West, is smoking on the rest of the NFL pack right now, 4-0 versus the NFC North, who's 0-4. So, I mean, shout out to the NFC West, just representing right now. I mean, I kind of view it as, even though we want them to lose as an Niners fan, I view it as like how, the Pac-12 wants other Pac-12 teams to win in non-conference, so it looks better, the division. And it'll be cool if all 4 make it. But yeah, great win for the Cardinals. They're definitely legit. And Cliff Kingsbury, maybe he's proven some people wrong now.
Yeah, I really think the Cardinals are going to be good this year. And that division is way too hard to predict. And now moving on to another NFC West team. It's the Seattle Seahawks, who played in Indianapolis versus the Colts and won 28-16. And Russell Wilson looked really good. Another guy who could possibly win MVP this year, but that's the case with Russell Wilson every year. But he connected with Tyler Lockett, Gerald Everett. But the Seattle offense looked really good, and the defense held their part too.
Yeah, when did Gerald Everett get on the Seahawks? Because he looked really good today. And I mean, this Colts team, actually, I thought was going to be better. But don't trust the Seahawks team. They always start hot. I mean, we saw it last year. They were undefeated for the longest out of anyone besides the Steelers. And then they lost to the Cardinals and kind of fell apart and ended up losing first round of the playoffs to the Rams at home. So don't trust the Seahawks team. I'm still not buying it. Russell Wilson starts hot. That's what he does. So I'm not trusting it yet. But for the Colts, I mean, Wentz was all right. But yeah, it was just kind of a mid-tier game, and it messed my parlay up too. So I'm kind of mad at the Colts, not betting on them ever again.
Facts. I mean, I think all the quarterbacks who refused to get vaccinated lost today. Cousins, Wentz, Cam got cut, and Lamar hasn't played yet. So we'll see.
The Raiders winning.
Maybe it's a curse. All right, now moving on to Chargers, Washington. This was a close one all game long, going back and forth. Chargers, Washington. Taylor Heineke made an appearance, but Herbert and the Chargers come away in a 20-16 victory. So yeah, you picked Chargers to win this division. You still agree with that?
Definitely. I think the Chargers are going to ball out. I mean, at the end of the day, this Chargers team is solid. Justin Herbert, I think, is so good. I mean, threw for 337 yards today. The only thing is, I mean, I was going to say the defense has to get it together, but they held Washington to 16 points. So, I mean, they did fine. Maybe the run game a bit more. Eckler only had 50 yards. But, I mean, this Chargers team's good. It is tough to go on the road in your first game of the year. So, I think this Chargers team is legit.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to be a pretty good team this year, but I'm not sure about division. And now moving on to the Sam Darnold revenge game. It was Jets at Panthers. Panthers come away with a 19-14 victory, scoring 16 of their 19 points in the second quarter, including a deep bomb to Robbie Anderson, the former Jet, along with Sam Darnold, obviously. But how do you feel about Zach Wilson in this game? He didn't look awful once he got some time, but the O-line was not looking good for the Jets.
Yeah.
And do you think – so first question, how do you feel about Zach Wilson this year? And second question, do you think, Sam Darnold can bounce back from a rough start to his career?
I thought Darnold looked amazing today. I thought he was probably the most impressive quarterback out of all of them today, just with how we've seen him in the past, and it really just exposes the Jets for how bad they used them. But Darnold was great. I watched the full highlights and I watched like half of this game. I thought he was really good. I thought Anderson was good. I thought the run game was good. I mean, if you have McCaffrey and PPR, worked very well. So many receptions for that guy. And yeah, I think this Panthers team is good. They have a really good defense too. So
Yeah.
hey, sneaky playoff team right there. They're in a good division though. Maybe not.
No, they're not.
Well, then the Saints and the Bucks are all
The
good.
Saints, not that the Saints played really well, maybe they are, but the
Yeah,
Falcons trash.
yeah. All right, but and then for the Jets, I think Zach Wilson is good, and I think he actually played pretty well. You're right. The offensive line was not good. His first half was shaky. You know, he got Corey Davis involved. Then the second half, he really played well. Braxton Berrios had tons of receptions along with Corey Davis. They all played well,
I
and
mean, I think he played the second best out of the 3 rookie quarterbacks that played today.
Yeah.
Started today.
yeah, and the worst was probably the first
Lauren.
pick. Yeah. So I mean, and then also Denzel Mims. It's the only thing. He only had 1 reception. They really didn't get him involved.
They gotta
He's
get him
working
involved.
very hard. He's taking like third team reps at practice, so that's an issue right there. But I mean, I do think this Jets team has some upside. I don't think they're gonna meet the Pats next week, but still, I think Wilson looked fine. And his white headband is so drip. I mean,
So drip. It looks like a do-rag.
yeah. But
All right, now moving on to the number 1 pick who played in Texas at NRG Stadium against Tyrod Taylor and fell 21-37. And man, this did not look good for the Jaguars. I mean, this was thought to be a pretty easy win over a Texans team that was projected by some people to go 0-17, not even get a win without Deshaun Watson. A bad defense, bad receiving core, bad running game. But they have 3 serviceable running backs in Philip Lindsay, David Johnson, and Melvin Ingram. I mean, Mark Ingram. So
yeah.
I think it's not a bad team. Well, it's a bad team, but it's not as bad as people were saying. Tyrod Taylor really played well today. He impressed me. But are you going to overreact to the start by Trevor Lawrence, or were you expecting it?
On both sides, they're not going to overreact. I think Trevor Lawrence, yes, he threw 3 interceptions, but I mean, that was one of the most unorthodox starts we've ever seen by a rookie quarterback. Normally, you're handing the ball off like crazy when you have a rookie quarterback. Trevor Lawrence threw the ball 51 times a day, had over 330 yards. I mean, but he still threw 3 interceptions. So he was airing the ball out. I mean, they did not hold back today. So I think he'll be fine. But for this Texans team, they are a lot better than people thought. I mean, Tyrod Taylor has a lot of experience. We've seen him in Buffalo, Cleveland, and Chargers. In 2 of those 3, he thrived really well. Maybe even he would have in LA if the team doctor didn't mess him up. So Tyrod's a very solid player. They have a great run game. I mean, really good run game. And then Brandon Cooks is one of the most underrated receivers in the game. 5 receptions, 132 yards. I'm so happy I have him on one of my fantasy teams for one of my most important leagues. And this Houston D is not bad. I mean, they got guys in their secondary like Vernon Hargraves and Jordan Reed that are picking people off, and an underrated linebacker is Zach Cunningham. So shout out this Texans team.
Yeah, shout out to Texans. They played with a lot of heart today. Proving the doubters wrong. Okay, now moving on to my Patriots. Fell 17-16 to the Dolphins, but it was a really entertaining game and a really promising game for this Patriots. This is a Dolphins team that went 10-6 last year, nearly made the playoffs. I wasn't expecting much from this game, but we went out there and we made it a 1-point game and had a chance to win it in the game at the end. But what ultimately killed us was a lot of penalties. And these were the 2 least penalized teams in the league last year. But New England had 8 today, and that really cost them the game, along with putting the ball on the ground. 2 fumbles from the running backs, Ramondre Stevenson and Damon Harris. But Mac Jones looked awesome today. No picks, threw for a touchdown to Nelson Aguilar. 29 completions out of 39 attempts, 280 yards. I mean, I really liked what I saw from Mac Jones today, and I was skeptical after we cut Cam. I was like, let's see what this kid got, but I think he proved it to me today.
Yeah, I think he's definitely a guy. If not the franchise quarterback, he'll be the quarterback for the next 3 years, but I think he could easily be the franchise quarterback. Played well. They did run the ball. They held him back a little bit, but I mean, I think that's probably works better than what the Jags did. I mean, 50 times doesn't actually work. But yeah, I think you looked good. The run game looked all right. You guys got a good amount of guys. Got to watch the fumbles a little bit.
Yeah.
But and the defense looked pretty good. I mean, I'm not going to discriminate, but I cannot stand lefty quarterbacks. Like it just when they're rolling
It's
out
weird.
it's the wrong way, and I swear to God, it won't work. No,
Yeah, I mean,
don't have
on the
to.
flip side, this Dolphins team, Tua turned the ball over. He he looked good today. Only one turnover. Jalen Waddle really impressed me. He had one really bad drop. But other than that, he made plays. He looked really good in open space. He had a touchdown. I was really surprised in the uninvolvement of Mike Gesicki. Zero, like 2 targets, 0 receptions, 0 yards. So
So
but
good
yeah,
job on the pass D on that.
facts. And Miles Gaskin actually looked pretty good, I'm not gonna lie.
Good
So,
to see
but
Dante Hightower back.
yeah, exactly. But honestly, this Dolphins team didn't look as good as I thought, and the Patriots played them pretty well. So I think we can split the season series when we play them in Miami later on in the season. So
Yeah.
I know this is a pretty long recap, but that's because it's one of our teams, and we're gonna have another long one right here, as the 49ers went to Detroit and got the close win, 41-33. But let's be honest, it was not as close as the score said.
Yeah, you're right. And you know, it's 38-10 at one point.
Yeah.
However, so I mean, this Niners team offensively looked great in my opinion. I think Jimmy Garoppolo, people are just hating on him for no reason. It's become a trend. He looked great. I just love his system. I mean, he can throw the ball, you know, somewhat downfield. I'm not gonna say downfield, but 15-20 beautifully, runs the system great. Deebo Samuel looked great. No Brandon Ayuk to be found was odd. And the Niners just seem to find a new running back every year. Elijah Mitchell's the one this year. But man, it's just hard to see this defense. Injuries already. The keys at the cornerback with Mosley out, Witherspoon and Sherman leaving the team. So we got Jason Verrett and a rookie from the 4th round, Lemayor, playing DB. Verrett goes down. I mean, we got an undrafted free agent and a rookie from the 4th round at corner. It's bad defensively. The DBs are very low right now, and the Lions took advantage of this in the 4th quarter. I mean, Jared Goff, I think, was the right trade at this point. He looked great. I'm not even going to lie. I was happy to see him play well, and I think he's the right fit in Detroit. I think they can win at least 7 games this year. And, yeah, they just got to fix their D up. But a good game overall. I think the Niners will figure it out, and I think they can beat Nick Sirianni's Eagles next week.
I think so too. And I think things are turning upwards in the D. With Goff playing well today, new head coach, but they showed heart today. They didn't give up, down a lot. They scored like 20 points in the last 2 minutes, something like that. So yeah, good performance by both teams. I was impressed by both.
Costly mistakes on the Niners, though. You know, Debo can't fumble that, can't hit Kittle's face mask on the onside kick. But I swear to God, in the 4th quarter, Detroit just does this weird thing where they just become magical. Like they're like down 28 and they'll just become close, and then they'll rip the heart out of their fans and be so close to winning and not quite do it. But yeah, good win for them.
Yeah, I agree. 1-0 start for the Niners, and then a game that really could have gone either way, a playoff matchup of last year. It was Chiefs Browns. And what a game this was. You know, Browns got off to a great start. I believe it was like 22-10 or something. But yeah, this was just a great game. But at the end of the day, you really just can't count out these Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce leading the way on offense. I mean, they just had an inspiring comeback. And once they took the lead, they never looked back.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of probably the game of the day. Tyreek Hill is just so good. I mean, they just throw it up. Tyreek, 177 yards, I believe, on the day. Receptions galore. I mean, he may be the third. He's in the top 3 receivers, I believe. I mean, it's becoming pretty, I don't know, but Hill looks great. Mahomes looks very solid. Once again, Kelce looks great. Those 3 are just so good. You know, I mean, the defense still struggles a little bit for the Browns, though. I thought their line looked awesome as usual. The pushes they were given were unreal. I mean, Nick Chubb had so much room on that one run. Kareem Hunt looked good. Great duo they have there. Baker seemed to have good presence. Tough pick at the end. But, I mean, I think both these teams are going to be playoff teams for sure. And
yeah, 100%. I think they both win their divisions. But the Browns looked impressive today. I think they could even be better than the Bills. I think they could get that 2 seed. So yeah. But yeah, that's it for the games on this.
Good game for David Njoku too.
Fact. Shout out David Njoku. Now moving on to the Broncos Giants. Teddy Two Gloves versus Danny Dimes, and Teddy Two Gloves came away with the win. I think it was the right move to start him at quarterback after all. But yeah, Noah Fant looked great. KJ Hamler looked pretty good. He had that one huge drop. It could have been a touchdown. Tim Patrick looked great, had a touchdown. Cortland Sutton wasn't involved that much. Jerry Jeudy really sucks. Big injury, got carted off the field. He was having a great game before that too. So it really sucks, but the Giants team just doesn't get better. It's just not a very good team every single year.
Yeah, I'm starting to think Daniel Jones may not be it. And it's not like he even played like that bad. He just didn't play good. Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. Saquon, I mean, dude, don't take a running back in the first round. I'm telling you. It's sad, but running backs just get so beat up that like the position becomes washed. I mean, the fact that a guy like Le'Veon Bell is considered washed when it's like his sixth season is insane to me. I mean, it's like those guys get beat up. The only guy that is not just unable to get beat up is just Frank Gore. It's unreal. But he's like the only veteran. But Bridgewater looks great. I mean, dude, it's just so weird seeing a guy with two gloves in the backfield. It's like, what is this receiver doing? But he just throws the ball so well. He's such a great guy. He's been so consistent for years. So love to see him doing well. And Melvin Gordon, what a run he had. 101 yards on the day. So shout out this Broncos team. Great defense. We already know that. And finally look good on offense. Oliver has been making the playoffs, and I'm starting to think I could see that happening myself. So I like it. And they got a great kicker in Brandon McManus.
Dude, I love Brandon McManus because he kicks in the mile high, so the ball just travels. I've always been a big Brandon McManus kind of guy. But yeah, my Broncos playoff predictions looking pretty good. I know it's the Giants, but they impressed me. And talking about impressing me, let's move on to Saints Packers. And boy, did Jameis Winston impress me, and boy, did the Packers not impress me. Jameis Winston and this offense put up 38 points on this Packers defense, and the Packers offense only put up 3. The reigning MVP, Aaron Rodgers, just couldn't get anything going against the Saints defense, which really surprised me. I mean, do you think what do you think is going on with Aaron Rodgers, and like what happened in that game?
I mean, he got to be one of the most generous people I've ever seen in my life after today. What he did for the people of New Orleans, giving them this win for their hurricane. I mean, that's just such a nice thing to do. I mean, I gotta give it to him. But in all real, long hair Aaron may have to go, but I don't know, man. I think that he was not on the same page as LaFleur. That's for sure. Something happened, but I still wouldn't be worried if I was a Packers fan.
I wouldn't either.
Let's talk about the Saints, though. I love to see it. Jameis Winston. I've been rooting for the guy since FSU. You know, one of my favorite games ever, 2014 FSU versus Notre Dame. Kind of fell in love with the dude then, and ever since that, I've been following him. You know, had a gunslinger, just couldn't get the picks stopped, and now finally, I think he's found his place in New Orleans. It's awesome to see him thrive, and they really pounded the rock. Alvin Kamara played well. You know, on the options, on the jet sweeps for the Saints. They just pounded the rock. Played good football, played some old school football, you know, reminded me of some high school football my team plays. And the Saints just really played well. Winston was in command, and it's good to see the Saints thrive. It is.
Yeah, also shout out Juwan Johnson, had 2 touchdowns today, both really acrobatic catches. I believe at Penn State, he was wide receiver, turned tight end now, and he looks great. My picks of Adam Troutman in fantasy are now looking not too good because Juwan Johnson seems to have secured that tight end spot. But yeah, this is a great win for the Saints. Now moving on to the Sunday night matchup, the Bears and Rams at SoFi Stadium, where the Super Bowl is going to be played. And Matt Stafford just seemed to fit right in with this Rams offense, and this Rams offense imploded. They had the passing game going. The running game was slow to start, but they got it going at the end there. And yeah, I mean, Cooper Kupp looked great. Robert Woods looked great. Tyler Higbee looked great. All around, this Rams team was clicking. This defense was great, as we expected. And yeah, I mean, this division is just crazy.
Definitely. NFC West, once again, balling out. Stafford looked good. And then, you know, Kupp and Woods just continued to play well. For the Bears, you know, they kind of did similar thing to the Niners, putting Fields in like the red zone. However, they were losing on like the Niners, so maybe they should consider starting Fields. Who knows? But Dalton Avandy, good guy, all-time good guy. I mean, probably one of the best guys I know, to be honest, but may not be that good anymore. So maybe start Fields.
I don't know how he is as a quarterback anymore. I think it's Justin Fields' season in Chicago.
Yeah,
Might as
good
well
guy. Andy
just
Dalton's a good guy.
yeah, good guy. But
I make us on three.
everyone's like, but give the kids some experience, straight up. I sound like cringy there. But give the kids some experience and let this team grow and mesh for the future. There's no point in throwing in a veteran unless you're trying to tank, which maybe they are. But so the Ravens and the Raiders play tomorrow. That's the game we will not cover, but we'll post something on our Instagram for sure.
And
Plus
shout out to our Instagram, polls everywhere. We did all 13 games today. Some of you guys predicted wrong. Some of you guys predicted right. I know you guys were heavy on the Falcons. That was wrong. You guys were really heavy on the Bears for some reason. I mean, maybe that's just the Abel twins, but you guys picked the Bears, like beat the Rams. Very wrong there. So yeah.
I think I picked the Bears. I think because I kind of got to like where at the end I was kind of choosing who I wanted to win instead of who I thought would win. But yeah, those polls were really fun. Me and Casey both created some. So yeah.
Oliver's fantasy team today lost to a guy that doesn't even play Bikini Bottom Brotherhood. I don't think he's checked fantasy.
I mean, I won in my other 2 leagues, so it's all good.
Robert Tanyan put up a fat 0 points.
Robert Tanyan helped me out with a quick 0. Yeah. I picked up Juwan Johnson though.
Should have started Jalen Waddle. So Oliver's getting some water, but well, he gets some water. I'm just gonna fill you guys in with some week 2. You know, we're gonna preview week 2 a little bit because I mean, we can't wait a week to talk about week 2. You know, so week 2, Giants are heading to Washington. You know, early spreads on that are looking interesting, but it looks like Washington's gonna have the a -3 spread over there. Raiders, Steelers, we still yet to see the Raiders. 49ers, Eagles, hammered the Niners there. And then Texans, Browns. We're likely to see about a +5 on the Browns there. I would hammer the Texans, or -5 on the Browns. Excuse me. I would hammer the +5 on the Texans there. As Tyrod looked good, and it's a revenge game for him. You got to remember that. Revenge game for Tyrod Taylor. And then some other good games we have is the Rams and the Colts, Bills and the Dolphins. And I must say, not many games of teams that both won. The only games of teams that are going to be both 1-0 playing next is Saints, Panthers, and Eagles, Niners. So I don't know if everyone would expect that going into week 2 this morning. But yeah. So, I mean, Saints, Panthers could be a good game. And if I had to say that right now, I mean, I like, that's tough. I mean, they both looked good today.
I'll go Saints.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go Panthers on that since it's in Carolina. I'm going to go Panthers. But we'll see. But yeah, excited for week 2. And let's move on to some talking tennis and then some other football. All right, U.S. Open ended today, boys. Djokovic went to get it, went for dynasty today, went for the legacy, went to be the all-time leader in tournaments, in Grand Slams. However, it did not work. Maybe a shocker. My dad was in attendance today, and everyone was rooting for Djokovic. Maybe Oliver's grandma isn't a Djokovic guy, but most people are. I mean, I'm a Djokovic guy for sure over those 2 other guys. Yeah. But yeah, he lost to Daniel Medvedev 6-4, 6-4, 6-4, 6-4 3 times. And Medvedev just used his little Russian skills and balled the hell out today on Joker. And I mean, how'd you feel about this, Oliver? Djokovic is not going to get the Grand Slam. Did not win all 4 this year.
Hey, I mean, I grew up in my grandma's house watching tennis, and I was raised not to like Novak Djokovic. So I'm a Federer guy and a Nadal guy. So I'm happy he didn't overtake them. He's gonna overtake them eventually. We all know that, but today was not the day.
Still tied.
Yeah, still tied. So I mean, I'm happy. Medvedev got the win. So yeah,
Medvedev has him a serve on him, 16 aces to only 6 for Novak. His first serve only 58%, but he wins 81% of the time when that goes in. So very solid. So shout out to Daniil Medvedev. Djokovic only wins 44% of the time on a second serve. Medvedev still wins 80. So he just dominates his serve. Some John Isner Nash. And good for him, winning the first Grand Slam for him and W.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. All right, ladies and gentlemen, new rankings are out. I mean, what a weekend of college football this was. I was in attendance of the number 12 in the country, their game this weekend. And it was not the best game for them, but it was very fun. All right, so starting with Alabama, easy one. We'll go quick through this. They beat Mercer by like 30. Yeah. Easy for them.
Hey, Georgia got 14 points though. Not bad.
Georgia, I believe, beat some nobody team. Yes, it was UAB, University of Alabama, Birmingham, 56-7. JT Taylor did get hurt though. but the mailman closed the game out and did fine. But still, that's a little worrisome. At 3, Oklahoma. Guess what they won, Oliver? Guess how much they won by?
76.
Correct. 76 to Western Carolina, who was in the mud. What bozos. Oklahoma, 76-0.
Bozo pack.
Rank us number 1 after that. At 4, Oregon. They beat Ohio State, representing the Pac-12 in Ohio. What a game. Shout out to Corey Franklin, 2 receptions, and great win for them.
Oh, yeah, I want to see those receptions, bro.
One of them, he got clocked. I mean, he got absolutely clocked, but still caught the ball. So shout out to Troy. And one was like a 13
Jordan product.
And at 5, Iowa, Spencer Petras from Marin Catholic, Bay Area guys. Shout out to Bay Area guys, 650 gang. Well, Marin's not 650, but still. Won it for Iowa, beat Iowa State in a very good hostile environment of Iowa State. So good for Iowa. And then Clemson, easy dub versus some nobody team. Texas A&M struggled big time at Colorado, only won by 7. Yeah, dude, or maybe only won by 3, 10-7. But wow, at the Denver Broncos Stadium, Boulder, Colorado did well. Cincinnati, easy dub. They're looking forward to Notre Dame in a few weeks. That's gonna be a movie. And Ohio State, we just talked about them. Penn State, huge win versus Ball State, but no one cares about that. It's next week. Penn State, Auburn, the Penn State whiteout. I'm a big college football guy, not a Penn State guy. I can admit Penn State has the best fans, or the best fan game out of any college football game, the Penn State whiteout.
It's so satisfying to look at.
The Kerncraft 400, we are Penn State. Oh, it's beautiful. They're playing Auburn next week. It's going to be an insane game. Florida won, good win for them. Notre Dame, they beat Toledo. It was way too close. You know, the Jack Cohn versus Tyler Buckner thing era has started the debate. Tyler Buckner played half the game. Jack Cohn played half the game. And they're so different. You know, Buckner's mobile. Cohn is just passer. I was in attendance. You know, all the students want Buckner, of course, because he's the freshman, 5-star. But Cohn's like a 5th year. But, I mean, good game. Toledo, though, is going to win the MAC. I'm telling you, that team can play. They got some dogs. The rest, you know, nothing big here. Coastal Carolina beat Kansas. Michigan beat Washington to get themselves ranked, in BYU. Shout out to them. They
beat ranked Utah.
Yeah, great game for them. Their new QB can play. Oh, and also Arkansas. Shout out to them. They Arkansas did well. They beat Texas at home, so good for Arkansas. Getting back on the map.
Also, Iowa State shouldn't be that high, bro. They're not that good, to be honest. Well, they're good, but they're not.
They struggled week 1 too.
Struggled week 1. I forgot who they played, but it was they barely won versus a not so good team, and then they lost to Iowa at home, which Iowa's a very good team to be fair. But BYU is impressive.
Let Virginia Tech go ahead of them after beating Carolina and Liberty, or not Liberty. Who did Virginia Tech beat yesterday? Was it Liberty? No, Middle Tennessee. All right, never mind. Not Liberty.
Liberty's good though because the quarterback.
Yeah, Liberty is good. But yeah, there's a little college football update. You know, I was at one of the games. It's pretty lit. College football, you know. You're starting to see a lot of losses. Kind of reminded me of 2007 with all these losses. But yeah, nothing like a college football game.
Nothing like. Hey, shout out to the boys. SF Giants won 7 in a row, 2 sweeps in a row at Colorado and at Wrigley. It's getting good. We're still up 3-0, 3 games in the NL West, even after the Dodgers just swept the Padres at home.
Yeah, now we go to San Diego, who's obviously struggling. I mean, that battle for the NL wild card is legit right now. Cincinnati's on the tail, dude. And then, yeah. And the Mets are on the NL West now, or the NL East. That's getting close. The Phillies struggling a little. Atlanta, Mets, who's going to get that? But yeah, Giants.
Good. And also Blue Jays, Yankees, that thing.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, the Red Sox kind of fell out.
Well, no, the Red Sox. Yeah.
Or Blue Jays, Yankees for, yeah. And, I mean, the A's are gone.
A's fell out. Mariners kind of fell out. Yeah.
Yeah. St. Francis, 2 words. I mean, holy crap. History.
Crap.
First time since 1991 they have done it. De La Salle has lost, and St. Francis is the one that completed this sweep. You know, Kalev and Moment were both there. We're going to get them on the call right now. Wow. I mean, Moment.
On my phone. I'll get back to you.
All right, we'll give Cringy a ring. But wow, the Rage Cage was popping. An electric name, by the way, the Rage Cage. But yeah, dude, I mean, holy crap, St. Francis, they looked good too. That was a crazy. I mean, that team, who could they not be? Yo, cringy.
Yo.
So welcome, Kalev, Vaska, onto the show. You were in, I mean, first of all, congratulations, because you witnessed this history. First time since 1991, De La Salle has lost. What was it like witnessing this? And is this St. Francis team legit? I mean, could they win state?
I don't know about St. Francis winning state, but I think that De La Salle is certainly not as good as they used to be, because right away St. Francis took the lead and they held the lead for the entire game until the very end of the fourth quarter, and then they got it back obviously and won. So I don't really think that. I think that St. Francis played great and looked like a top tier team, maybe top 10 or 20 in the state, but I don't think that De La Salle is as good as they were hyped up to be.
Facts, man. I mean, just wild. And how was the rage cage? Was that popping or what?
Yeah, it was crazy. There was so many people there. Still up there. We had to sit visitor stands.
All right. And then, Los Gatos, big win. And by the way, Kalev Vaska staying on because they're a high school insider. But Los Gatos at 2, easy dub for them. I mean, that team's good after beating Liberty. Sarah beat Half Moon Bay, but they were tied at one point. So shout out to Half Moon Bay for that. Valley Christian lost to Liberty. So that just shows that a team like Gatos is definitely better than Valley Christian.
Yeah, seems like it.
And then Aptos went to overtime with Palma and got the win. Wherever the fuck Aptos is, I guess it's an Aptos. But good for Aptos.
Still don't know.
Yeah. Bellarmine College Prep is legit. Another W for them this time for Stanley Angio. Oliver
MA finally got a win.
first win. Good for MA. They won the honorable. They beat like Butte College or whatever.
Yeah.
Palma lost. We talked about San Benito from Hollister. They beat Wilcox before. Yo, Oliver, Kalev, you're a big Hollister guy. Do you think San Benito is legit?
I know nothing about the team other than I think they were good a few years ago, but I think that Wilcox probably isn't as good as last year.
Yep. Salinas at 11. Menlo at 12. Everyone's like, why is Menlo at 12? And everyone's coming to me about it to say, like, why is Menlo ahead of you guys? They deserve to be it, Honestly, I don't give a crap if they're in a lower division. The league hasn't started, so let them have their little moment of shine. And once they're 9-0, Sacred Heart will humble them. But yeah. Burlingame beat Cathedral. They go to 14. And the Prep had a bye week, so they moved down, I believe, to 15. And then Mountain View 19 after crushing Dave DiGeronimo's Los Altos Eagles. And at 20, Palo Alto. And I know a few guys on this Palo Alto team. Finally, you guys play a team that's, not amazing. What was it like to get your first win? And was this Pioneer team any good?
It was pretty rewarding to get our first win, but to be honest, according to the coaches and how we just felt in general, we really played worse against Pioneer than we played against Sarah or SI. So no, Pioneer is not a very good team, but we also had this expectation that we were just going to crush them, and that was why the game was so close. It really should have been a blowout, and I think that's part of the reason also why we dropped one in the rankings, because we only won by 17 against a team that's ranked like 50 in CCS.
Oliver?
Yeah, I mean, I think Kalev was right here. I think our second half effort versus Sarah was by far better than our effort here against Pioneer. And Pioneer, not an awful team, but not great at all either. So, but I think it's definitely a step in the right direction for this team to get their first win out of the way.
Yep. And now you guys got the Carlmont Scots. Interesting mascot there, but yeah, you got the Carlmont Scots. They were 1-0. Luke Nessel rushed for 250 yards or something in their first game. Then they lost to Terra Nova, and then they just lost to San Mateo. So they're a struggling team. Should be able to win. Is it at home or is it?
We are at Carmel on a Thursday again.
Yeah, Thursday night.
Oh my god, that's some dash, dude.
Yeah.
That's stupid. Whatever. But that's it for high school football. Next week, we got Sacred Heart Prep at Mountain View and Palo Alto at Carmel, as we just talked about. So stay humble, boys, and we'll see you next time talking about high school football. Sir. Boys, what an episode. I mean, NFL is back week 1. College football is back week 2. High school football is back week 3. I mean, it is a movie. Medvedev won the U.S. Open. Giants are hot. I mean, what a game. What a episode, dude. Name a better episode. I'll wait. Waiting. All right, yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay.
I just kidding. Okay. All right. Eagles 1-0 versus Niners 1-0 next week. Going to be a movie, and we will see you next time.
Pats Jets, Mac Jones versus Zach Wilson. Let's get it.
And everyone that said Russell Gage, you guys are idiots. He had 0 points. Cole Beasley had 12, but I still want my fantasy team, so it's all good. All right, see you boys.
Big board.